Hi chums. The tomato experiment. Well, here we go. This tomato here and this one here are the two tomatoes that I didn't prune. And this one here and this one here are the two tomatoes I did prune. Now, as you can see, the trusses, I'll go back a bit and see if I can get more in. The trusses on the two that I pruned are much better, much longer than the ones I didn't prune. Now, if you look at these ones here, they've got tomatoes on them, but there's only 4 or 5 tomatoes in each truss. They're ripening, they taste exactly the same as the other ones, but there's not as much volume. I haven't counted them, but by sight it looks like there's an awful lot more on the ones that were pruned. The other advantage of pruning that I have found is it makes the plants much more manageable, and it allows more light in round the plants for the berries to, or the strawberry, what do you call it, strawberries, tomatoes to ripen. Now, the other part of the experiment was that I was going to, didn't feed this plant, and I didn't feed this plant, and I fed this plant, and I fed this plant. Now, if you look at that, there is no discernible difference between those two plants and these two plants here. Okay, so the two on this side, I can't get a good shot here because I'm so far away. The two on this side here are the ones that weren't fed, and these two here are the ones that were fed. So you can see there's no difference. Now, I put that down to the fact that I put these in a very rich mix. The same mix as for potatoes. Half potting compost, half potting compost with added John Innes mix, and half farmyard composted farmyard manure. I also put a handful of chicken pellets and a handful of growmore into each pot, so they got a real good substantial medium to grow in, and I think that is why there wasn't much difference when it came to feeding. You can see these tomatoes are starting to ripen nicely now. This is a big issue for us, is getting tomatoes ripened because the weather's been so poor. There's a nice bunch in there actually. Look at those. Aren't those nice? And those are on the ones that weren't pruned. So I'm going to do something pretty drastic in a few minutes, and I'll show you that in the next video. These tomatoes here, the other part of the experiment, this is a tomato that had the banana skins, and really there's not much difference between that and the others. And this one here had the eggshells, and there's not much difference. I must say there was no blossom end rot on this plant, but there was no blossom end rot on any of the plants. So possibly I had my watering and stuff under control well enough that that wasn't an issue. So I don't know if it's worth doing again next year. I might collect up some eggshells and throw a few into each pot just for the sake of doing it, but other than that, they're not bother, you know. These are Roma tomatoes here. I can't really see what's going on here. There's so much going on. And the peppers are doing well. Those are cayenne there, and they're nice. Now, they're not going to ripen, so I'm going to take those off and start processing them when they're green. They'll still be hot enough, I'm sure. And I don't want to lose them. They're starting to get little black spots on them, so I don't like the idea. I don't know what's going on there, so I'll get them off. The cherry peppers, they're starting to ripen, but look, they're getting this marks on them too. So I'm going to take those off as well and just see what they're like. The Antony romaine, they've done pretty well. So I'm happy with it. This one here is not so good looking, but the rest of them seem okay. They feel fairly substantial compared to last year when they looked good, but they were very thin skinned, but I gave them far too much water. Now, someone in the comments a few weeks ago complimented me on my knowledge of gardening, and I thanked them, but I pointed out that the only difference between me and someone that was starting off was that the extra knowledge that I have now from what I've done has just allowed me to make bigger and more spectacular mistakes, and here's one of them. Remember the indoor corn? Well, the indoor corn is no more because I left it too long. I decided to try it out. Now, the tassels didn't go real dark brown, but look at the state of it. It's completely dried out. and it's all covered. It's got lots of insect damage and all that sort of stuff, you know. So we don't get it all right, you know. So that was what, 16 and 9, 25 plants. I couldn't even count it. 25 plants for nothing. But I'm not beaten yet. I'm going to do it again next year. But this time I'll keep a closer eye on them. The onions are in here drying. It seems to be working okay. What I'm doing is I'm taking out any that are anyway suspect. That one there is okay. I'm looking. I've actually got most of the ones out that I've been using to, before so they don't rot, and they taste fine. They're absolutely lovely. You know, there's my those are my shallots. I did only put in 4 plants and I got those out, so I haven't used those yet, but they look okay. These cucumbers here are nearly done, but they're still putting out. These ones here are still going. Look at that there. I've got another one up here, and I've got more in here. So I'll definitely be doing that again. Oh, there's another couple there. I love this. Look, more there. There's another one over there. And there's another one there. And where do you see this? Another one here. So, happy days. That's great. People have really enjoyed those. These tomatoes here, Gardener's Delight, pruned traditionally again, and good long trusses, as you can see. So, all in all, I'm happy enough so far. Green tomato chutney. I'm sick making it. I looked up Rickvanman's recipe. Absolutely beautiful recipe. But my goodness, what a lot of work. I've processed about 16 kilos of tomatoes so far, and I'm near done. Outside ferment. The outside peppers did nothing. I've got flowers on them. Oh look, there's one there. Look, so I've actually got something happening here. What do we see? Yep, anti-romaine worked, but everything else is used. Oh, there's some California Wonders, but the rest of them are just useless. So we'll not be doing outside peppers again, but you have to try these things. Now, if we take a quick look around the beds, those are the 2 beds that had onions in them. The next 2 beds had the beans and peas, and the next 2 beds had the outdoor corn. The outdoor corn, I just about got to that in time and managed to save about, well, I had a whole drawer full of stuff in the freezer. These are potatoes I put in the other day. Nothing in that one. But what do you see this? Look at that. Those are blues, and I'm hoping they'll be good for Christmas. Now, I'm not going to put them into the greenhouse while there's tomatoes there, because there's blight in the tomatoes, and potatoes are very susceptible to blight. So I'm going to put them in after the tomatoes are done. And then these are just some more potatoes. These potatoes here are blues, and I've noticed something. The bags are really swelling and big hard lumps in them. So I've got great hopes for those. Carrots still doing grand. Leeks are coming on the very best. I waited those out the other day. Oh, what an awful monotonous job that was. And then strawberries, I'll be cutting those back soon. Beetroot here. The beetroot here is doing grand. I've been feeding these with cow manure. I'll show you that in a minute. And those are my other beans, French beans I put up, because I thought I wouldn't have enough. I didn't have too many. And as you can see, the French beans are still putting out big time. Loads and loads of beans coming. So I'm happy with those as well. Look at this. Look, there's more. More there and there. Look. Lots of beans. So happy with that. There's cabbages here, beetroots here, turnips here, but they haven't done very well. There's only a couple of wee plants coming up, but I'll give them a go. Oh yes, look at this. Jack-o'-lantern pumpkins. Isn't that good? Oh, here. I don't want to damage the plant. There it is. And there's another one. And somewhere in among this, there's another one. I was also processing courgettes. The courgettes, I took my eye off them for 5 minutes and they ended up 2 foot long. So I've been doing a lot of stuff, a lot of processing there. Outside tomatoes, I don't think I'll bother doing them again. They don't ripen. Don't put on much of a show in terms of fruit, so I'm not going to bother. Oh, the red alert, I'll do red alert again, but I'm going to bring them in early this time, because next year, because they didn't really ripen and they just went bad instead. Cob nut squash. got a cob nut squash, and there's a couple more. Oh, there's another one here called yellow scallop. I haven't seen this one before. That one. So that's, let me see, get down here. That's the one I got free with a magazine. So I'm happy with that. Right, back into the greenhouse. There's something else to show you here. This compost tea business, well, I'm too lazy for that and all aerating. So this is my compost tea here. I got some really, really well rotted cow manure from behind the byre, and it was absolutely beautiful, like gold dust or black dust, black gold. And I just put it into that there, and there's my aeration system, right? The bubble, 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 and then I just take a scoopful of that, stick it in the watering can, fill it up, and that's my compost tea, and it's making a huge difference. I've only put it on the last couple of weeks, but the stuff's coming on really well. Right, just I'm going to take a quick race up to the house here and show you something else. I'll drop into the freezer and show you the corn that I managed to save. I was disappointed in the corn because it did really well last year, but I got caught out this year. I don't know what happened. I'm going to blame my colour blindness, that I couldn't see the colour of the tassels, but I think it was really just I wasn't paying attention. What do I see now? Where's all the corn at? Yeah, there's corn there. So you can see I got a full drawer, but they're not very big. They're not very big cobs. They're about 6 inches long. But we tried a couple of them out, and they taste the very best. I'll fix that in a minute. So that, and there, look, beans, stuffed full of beans and cabbages and stuff. Got loads and loads of stuff. I'll come back and fix that in a minute when I stop this. And the last wee bit is the tomato chutney. 12 minutes. Oh, I'm alright. Don't really like going over 10 because that's too long. But excuse the state of this place. I've been working here. There's a tomato chutney. That's Rick's tomato chutney. And it's absolutely delicious. That's been boiling for about 4 hours, just simmering. And this one here has been on about an hour and a half. That's 3 kilos in that of green tomatoes, and it makes really beautiful chutney. I'll put Rick's video up with a link to it so that you can see it. And there's the finished product. It's really beautiful. I put a bit of chili in just to give a bit of background to heat, and it's absolutely delicious, you know. So that's where we are now. And there's a note, two antiques. Those are out of a house that my aunt lived in, and I got those 30 years ago, and she got them when she was married. So they're maybe, 30, 50 years, 80 years old, and they're still going the very best. And there's some history attached to this pot here. It came from a super cook. So maybe something to rub off on me. So there you go, folks. Finishing off on the last shot of Rick's chutney. It is absolutely delicious. It's a lovely colour there too. Now that's a bit too thin yet, but it'll be ready soon. And then we'll jar it up. Okay, all the best now, folks. Bye bye. There'll be another video coming up after I do a bit of work in the greenhouse. So all the best. Bye bye.